Hi guys, how you doing? Here we are, back for a new season. Game is finished. Let's start with the game. Not enjoyable. Not a classic. Not a spectacle. Wasn't good fun to watch. It was fairly turgid stuff, let's be honest with you. But obviously, there's some talking points coming out of that we need to try and get through. First of all, Newcastle have won the game, and that's good. 3 points on the board. You can't grumble with that at the start of the season. And obviously, sometimes you get off to a bit of a slow start. It's not a bad thing. We saw what happened last season, 5-1 against Aston Villa the opening day of the season, dismantled them, and then look what happened at the end up. So maybe it's not a bad thing that Newcastle are slowly getting their season off to a winning start. But look, it wasn't pleasing in the eye, it wasn't good to watch. It wasn't good to watch before the sending off, I have to say. Southampton looked the better team, let's be honest. However, without doubt, the sending off changed the game, because there was no way Newcastle could then come back and throw bodies forward and try and win the game by 2-3 goals. And it became either get out of here with a 0-0 draw or sneak one on the break like they did, and credit to Newcastle for that, and try and hold on for the 3 points. So look, credit to Newcastle. It was a brilliant back to the wall performance, and there was a lot of players I felt defensively who did very well. Dan Burn was great. Emil Kraft, when he came on, dug in, did superbly well. I thought the fullbacks were great. I thought Joe Linton was excellent in midfield. I thought there was a few players who were off it. I thought Gordon, for me, looked he was subbed after 65 minutes. For me, looked jaded, looked tired. I know he was up front kind of alongside Isak on their own. They didn't have the extra support of Murphy after the sending off, but I thought both Gordon and Bruno looked off of it in terms of their fitness levels and their energy. Perhaps that will come as the season goes, but for a season opener you could see that both of them have played a lot through the summer, and it was no surprise for me that Gordon came off. Obviously Bruno stayed on because he was captain. I actually thought Isak looked a little bit jaded as well, which I'm surprised by, because anyone who's willing to listen to me this summer, I've said I think Alexander Isak is going to score 30 goals if he stays fit. I think he's one of the best strikers, if not the best striker in the Premier League, but I just felt today he looked like he was kind of I don't know, he was obviously trying, but he just didn't look up to what we saw from him towards the end of last season. And again, there was no Murphy there. They only had himself and Gordon, or himself and Barnes, going forward, and he looked frustrated towards the end, particularly in the second half, because he was starved of service. But even in that first 20 minutes, he didn't quite look the all-firing striker that I thought we were going to get on the back of the end of last season. Perhaps that will come. Let's not go too hard on him, Gordon or Bruno just yet. It might take them a while just to kind of get up to speed. But you could see that, for me, they weren't 100% match sharpness. And it'll be interesting to see or hear what Eddie Howe's got to say afterwards. Now, let's talk about the sending off, because obviously the sending off is the thing that's changed the game. I've watched that a number of times now. My feeling in all of this is, why do the referees and the VAR not just take common sense in this? Like, clearly Ben Brereton Diaz has tried to play the situation, he's tried to con the ref, he's tried to make the most of the rules to get the situation what happened by getting Fabian Schär sent off. Now, Fabian Schär shouldn't have reacted, and I'm saying he shouldn't have reacted. If you're barged over when you've got the ball and it's a Newcastle free kick and the whistle is gone, I can see exactly why Fabian Schär has reacted. And I've watched it a number of times. It looked to me like they went head to head, and then Diaz was the first player to pull his head back and sort of feign injury. I can see exactly why the Newcastle players were raging about it. Dan Burn, we saw that little, I'm sure you've seen it by now, the little fracas in the tunnel at half time, and without doubt the referee's been conned. Do I blame the referee? A little bit, maybe 25%. I blame VAR even more than that, because VAR, I've watched that on the tape 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and they've upheld the decision. They had to take into consideration the fact that clearly Brereton Diaz is trying to con the referee. They have to take common sense in that moment, because they know that red card at that stage after 28 minutes is going to kill the game. It's going to kill the game as a contest. It's going to kill it as a spectacle. And there's people paying loads of money being here to see this game. The Premier League the millions of pounds that are behind this, and a sending off like that can just completely change the dynamic of it. And I just feel that rule needs to be changed, and I think the VAR needs to take a look at themselves after. I thought it was really poor. I thought the referee was poor throughout. Even at the end, Bruno Guimaraes got a couple of fouls in the dying seconds of the game. They were never free kicks, he just fell to the ground. And is that the referee evening it up? Is that the referee sort of showing a bit of leniency to Newcastle? Is that the referee just being incompetent? I thought he was bad throughout. I thought it was never a sending off. I thought he made mistakes throughout the game. And look, for Newcastle, I guess, in an event like that, a match like that, they just need to get to the end of it with 3 points, and they've managed to do that. So look, fair play to them for that. But I just felt in the moment, there was a chance to look at it at VAR. I was sat here with some friends and family, and I came back in having watched, and I said there's no way. I said they'll 100% overturn that. It's not a red. They've gone head to head and Diaz has thrown his head back. Could not believe that they upheld that red card, and he was sent off for that. So look, devastating for Fabian Schär, because I think he'll miss the next 3 matches for violent conduct unless they manage to appeal it successfully. But for Newcastle to essentially enter the season with Dan Burn, a left centre back, and Emil Kraft as a centre half isn't good enough. I know Botman's missing, I know Jamal Lascelles is missing, and Scher's missing as well. But for me, that says to me they need to push the button now for Mark Guehi. I've just been speaking to people before the game today and saying, look, you understand if Newcastle pull out of this deal, you understand, because Crystal Palace are rinsing the situation, extracting as much money from Newcastle as they possibly can. I can understand them walking away from that. However, with the situation, Schär missing the next 3 matches, you now look at it and you say, do you know what, if you need to pay an extra 5-10 million for Mark Guehi and you can do it, you just go and do it now, because Newcastle need a right-sided centre half to come in there and play those next 3 games. And look, perhaps that shows maybe Fabian Schär, as much as a good pro as he is beginning to maybe make a few bad decisions. I don't know, I'm not too sure. But anyway, let's see what happens with Mark Guehi. If you'd asked me the question yesterday, will Newcastle sign him, I would have said yes, they'll get the deal done. If you'd asked me this morning, I would have said maybe not, they might walk away from it. And then I've just watched that game and seen Fabian Schär get sent off and think, actually, do you know what, they might try and push this through now. So let's see what the next couple of days bring. But look, the good news is there's a winning start for Newcastle. It wasn't quite the 5-1 against Aston Villa last weekend, but hopefully they can kick on from here, and the likes of Gordon and Bruno and Isak can get more minutes in their legs, and they can kick on and go on a bit of a winning run now. So yeah, not fun to watch. I thought the referee was really poor, spoilt the game, but there we are. Newcastle winning start, 1-0 win against Southampton. Some good performances tonight, and as Callum Wilson rightly said to Jacob Murphy as he came off at the end, well, you got more minutes than me for that cameo, but I'm going to finish with this by talking about Jacob Murphy. Fair play to him. He came off after half an hour, not a grumble, sprinted off. He was a player that was sacrificed, and then at the end celebrated more than anyone else. Fair play to Jacob Murphy. Thumbs up to him. What a team player he is. Newcastle walk away with a 1-0 win today against Southampton on the opening day of the Premier League season. Okay guys, leave your comments below and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.